All right, YouTube. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. This is the Parlay Parlor. Very late video today. I do apologize for that. I did just kind of want to wait for the first weekend of the season post All-Star break just to see if there's going to be any surprises in the injury report, especially for one of the games that I have in mind. We're going to go with four props today. We are going to fluctuate between in terms of the volume of props we give you. I know consistently I've gone with three. I am leaning into giving you the extra prop today, with the logic being that I'm going to go for slightly juiced odds. As you can see here, everything is north of -110. Not going to apologize for that because I think this is finally going to be the card where I'll be reporting tomorrow with the broom. We're going to sweep. It's manifested. But to start off, the props today are going to be Jalen Green over his points and assists, the 76ers spread against the New Orleans Pelicans, Victor Wembanyama over his threes, and Asha Thompson. Apologies about that. Let's fix that right now. Hey, that's what happens when we're well, unfortunately enough, my USB-C cable is plugged into my microphone, so I can't do that without me being muted. So bear with me for one moment. All right, how's that? Apologies for the technical difficulty there. We'll make sure that we don't have this kind of issue again going forward, or if anything, it doesn't matter because we just want to make sure this video is we get the right prop out to you guys. I think this is going to be the card that gets us over the line. With that being said, let's do a review of last night. Not really gonna say anything more besides, hey, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results. I've gone against the Hornets spread, I think, for 3 times now, and every single time we've fallen short by a point. This time it was a Brandon Miller 3 to cut the deficit. In any case, hey, the Hawks Heat under, that was really never in doubt. I mean, Tyler Hero was back. He had a great performance. I think the Heat won. But again, the way that they play when the ball is facilitated through him, 244 was just too high in my liking. I saw it close at 245. So I guess we beat the closing line. And in Jeremiah Fears, a little initial concern due to Bryce McGowan or McGonagall, whatever the guy last name sounds like the professor from Harry Potter. But once Jeremiah Fears came into the game, I mean, he didn't take over per se, but I think Pelicans still lost. But he covered his line quite handily. I think he had 10 points by the end of the first 10 points and 4 assists by the end of the first half. For him to get us over the line, perfectly fine. He ended up with 16 points, so perfect. Let's go off and start with today's video. First prop today, from the first game, and I do apologize for getting this out later than usual. I did just want to see if there's going to be any news with Jalen Green, to see if there's a questionable tag or a probable tag. It's him playing his most minutes back since he's had a lot of injury turmoil from the start of the season. With Devin Booker out, this is very interesting. The fact that if we are getting full Jalen Green minutes, we are essentially going to get the possession ends here, Jalen Green again, especially in a soft matchup. Of course, in general, the Orlando Magic are one of the dark horses in the East. It's always going to be a tough matchup with them. But to the shooting guard position, we're talking about a bottom 10 defense specifically to them. I mean, well, we're talking about a matchup of now Anthony Black with Franz Wagner out injured for the foreseeable future. With Devin Booker out, we're going to see a lot of the ball go through the hands of Dylan Brooks, and hopefully Jalen Green now has been the de facto 1 and 2 options. It's a home game. Dylan Brooks back from his suspension for getting a 16 technical foul. Of course, I had his points in mind, but that was a little too high. I think it's at 23.5 now. 22.5. It's gone down one, but still, I'd rather just take Jalen Green with the points and assist. Of course, he's a ball hog, but this is a line that I'm quite comfortable with him just taking control of in points. If we get anywhere north of him taking 23 shots again, like I usually say, I'm at peace with whatever the result is afterwards. Yeah, 18 points. You could just give that to him. But I think in a home game, especially after they just got blown out by the Spurs, we're going to see. I mean, this is going to be his first game. I think that he's the second game that he's played more than 25 minutes, hopefully. If that's going to happen, I definitely expect to see what he can do in a pick and roll with someone like a Mark Williams, or we know how he likes to score. If you go over to Props Madness, he can either shoot above the break, very fluid, creative shooter, likes to create his own shot. He can drive create at the rim. I want to see what he can do in the pick and roll with someone like a Mark Williams, or finding someone out like Dylan Brooks or Royce O'Neal out on the corner. We look at the defense in those various zones. Pick and roll again with what he wants to do with Mark Williams or potentially Dylan Brooks is very enticing. Yes, above the break at the three is a little bit daunting per se, but when you're taking 23 shot attempts, anything, if we're even getting 18 shot attempts, I'm perfectly fine with that. And as long as if the bulk of his shots aren't necessarily coming from that, he's only taking nine shots out of 23. I'm perfectly fine with that. Um, his usage, I don't really want to say. Yeah, you could probably say his usage would probably be around the 25 to low 30s. There's only been one game that you could probably give him anything north of that, give him like more than 20 minutes. It's only the sample size is going to be very small. When you played exactly 20 minutes, we go 21. Yeah, there's only one sample size that we have, and it was a blowout to the Spurs. I mean, this is really a volume play, personally speaking. I did take Jalen Green's under in his last game against the Spurs, thinking that a defensive matchup would be great. Lo and behold, I mean, you really can't foresee Devin Booker getting injured, and then him getting 23 shot attempts up in 27 minutes. I mean, that means he's nearly taking a shot a minute. If we get anywhere close to this type of out volume of shooting from him, and I think this is going to be not his first home game in Phoenix, but his first home game where he's going to start and he's going to see considerable minutes. I'm perfectly fine with that. If you want to look at similar shooting guards to play against the Orlando Magic, a lot of these guys, I mean, you can look down at Kevin Porter Jr. with 18 points, but at the same time, when you look at the points and assists, he got a triple double, and that was the game where I took him specifically for points, which sucked. But if we look at the plethora of shooting guards that play against the Suns, the ones that do see considerable minutes and considerable usage of the ball tend to cover this line. You have Isaiah Joe with Jalen Williams and SGA out. Kevin Porter Jr. the game before he got a triple double. You have Cam Thomas didn't see much minutes this game, but the very game after that, he had 35 points against them. This is primarily just a volume play. It's a volume play. It's a matchup play. No Devin Booker. So primarily your number one and number two are going to be Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Colin Gillespie. It's going to be a tough point guard matchup if Jalen Suggs plays, even if he doesn't play. I did want to go towards the Anthony Black points and assists, not to lie to you. It is at 21.5. Just for some reason, I am concerned about how the Suns are a top 5 defense to the shooting guard and close to point guard position. But Dylan Brooks is a lockdown defender. Don't want to take any risk in that if the data is going against that there. So let me go for Jalen Green. We can consider this a de facto home debut where he's starting his first home start. Not a vibe play for sure. If we're getting anywhere half of this volume, we're even asking for half of this volume or half of a blowout. He covers this line in points alone. Our second prop for today is we're going to go over to the Pelicans against the 76ers. Well, the 76ers visiting the Pelicans. The Pelicans are on a back-to-back after they played Milwaukee yesterday. Lost by a considerable amount, but Jeremiah Fear still got us over the line. We're going to take the 76ers minus the 3.5, minus the 4 points, basically. I'm not too concerned. Yes, Joel Embiid is still out, but Andre Drummond comes in. I don't think Andre Drummond played much of the last game, or he did play in the last game and he got a double-double. Points and rebounds is definitely on the agenda for him. His threes, if you're a betting man, I guess this comes from a gambling channel, you could take his threes. Um, his rebounds, again, if you're doing that, you might as well just go for a double-double, which I think double-double is probably like minus 135 probably, or might be getting good odds for it. Ooh, plus 175 on the double-double. Derek Queen. Hypothetical, you could take Andre Drummond for his points and rebounds or a double-double. I do think this is a game where he definitely will see considerable minutes, him and Adam Bona, but I think he's probably going to be the one taking the bulk of the center minutes. But for all intents and purposes, the prop that's going to go on the spreadsheet tomorrow, and hopefully I don't come on here regretting that I just spent a half a minute very enticed on that Drummond line, but on the side, I'll probably put in the comments what I like about that. But basically, Philadelphia -4. When you look at back to backs, the Pelicans are abysmal in them. In terms of covering the spread, they've only covered this in 20% of their games 22% of games this season. The 76ers are not on a back-to-back. They're actually on a day's rest. I mean, I don't really like to look at that metric there, but basically we're talking about a team in the Pelicans where they're not necessarily tanking, but they're just really not good at all. And we have a 76ers team that lost to the Hawks. Again, that was probably going to be a considerable matchup with no Embiid against the likes of Kongwu and Jalen Johnson. But now we're getting a Pelicans team, and this is part of the reason why I waited a little bit longer to see the injury report. I wanted to confirm if Trey Murphy wasn't gonna play, because this morning see Trey Murphy and Dejounte Murray were all doubtful, and I think questionable in the case of Misi and Murphy. I just didn't want to take the risk on leaning again into a Jeremiah Fears line, and honestly, probably do like his points and assist again. Again, I'll put that in the comments if I'm going to if that's going to fall into the water down. But in terms of keeping things fresh, there's just too much rotation going on a Pelicans team that are just out of sorts. They kind of don't know what they're doing. Credit to them, they're not tanking, but credit to them, they're just not good at all. Yep, this could be a Zion game. This could be a Sadiq Bey game. But I just think the 76ers, I think, how are they doing? They've gotten embarrassed quite recently. They've lost. Yeah, I think they've lost 4 on the bounce. Yeah, they've lost 4. They lost 3 on the bounce actually, because they beat the last game they won was against the Phoenix Suns. I hate to always say bounce back, but 3 games in a row they've lost. A very big blowout to the Knicks. Yes, Joel Embiid is still out, but you have Dominic Barlow. He's getting paid now. Points and rebounds for Dominic Barlow I actually love. I don't know why this line is so low. He's gonna see considerable minutes. He only took 3 field goal attempts in 22 minutes. Very odd. But no, for all intents and purposes, the 76ers -4. I'm not trying to think into it too much. And I'm pretty decent on spreads when they're not the Charlotte Hornets. I just think home team on a back-to-back, away team. This is just a read that I would take any day of the week. Yes, Joel Embiid is out, Paul George is out, but we've seen the 76ers handle business without them. And I think they kind of course, they're going to hopefully get them back in time for the playoffs. I mean, hopefully you get a healthy Joel Embiid in the playoffs finally, and then Paul George, as long as he doesn't take any more drugs, illicit drugs, he should be good. But I mean, VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes off the bench in lieu of Dominic Ball for many minutes. I just think the 76ers, yeah, there was a lot of controversy on why they let Jerry McCain go for such a light package, a light deal to the Thunder. Uh, I don't think that argument makes itself pronounced today, maybe in the future. I think the 76ers handle business. Give me the 76ers minus the 4 points. You can get this at minus 115 on DraftKings. FanDuel, yeah, if you have Profit X and prediction markets, bet Caesars, you can get it minus 110, but yeah, minus 115 is the going rate. That's where I'm going to get it in at. Our second to last prop of today, we're going to go to Victor Wembanyama. We're going to take him for over his threes, 1.5 threes. Yeps, they're playing the Sacramento Kings at home. So this will always have a caution mark on it. This could be a considerable blowout. We might not see Wemby play much of the fourth quarter if that's the case, but let me feed into that. Yes, this season he's not doing too hot on the 2 threes. I mean, compared to last season, I mean, you're probably getting this at a 2.5 threes line. We're seeing Wemby be more of a center now, of course. But he's not. He's not missing this at a considerable distance where I'm thinking I don't want to bet it. Yes, he is being more of a center, but we just have to look in terms of he's averaging eight threes last season to now. He's averaging 5. Not necessarily half of the volume. We're probably like a 35% deviation in that. But I'm still okay with a center taking 5 threes. That's fine. If a center's taking 5, 6 threes, I can have my piece on whether or not he makes them or not. And when we're talking about 3 shooting centers, I mean, Wemby is probably, I won't say he's the best in the league, but he's considerably easily in the top 10, undoubtedly in the top 10, arguably top 5. Um, the matchup in terms of threes to the center, I mean, close to a bottom 10 team. I don't see the likes of Precious Achua or Raynaud making themselves that imposed on the perimeter against Wemby. When we look at the points matchup, I mean, they're a bottom 10 team. I mean, second from bottom, the second worst team in the league to defending points to the center position. And then again, if we go over to props madness, or if Wemby likes to take a shot, we're still seeing 27-ish shots come from the 3. I'm okay with that. And we have them being a bottom 10 defense to shots at the 3. I wanted to bring up props. I mean, I am gonna have a video come out either probably tomorrow or probably sometime tomorrow. We'll do 2 videos. The first video will be the props of the day, and then the second video later on will kind of probably be a video on how I go about my process on Outlier and Props Madness to get behind a bet. First and foremost, this game has, I think it's an 18-point blowout. 18.5 has gone up. Yeah, 18.5 now. 17.5 originally. It's gone up now. When we look at wins, whenever, let's say 12 or more points for Wemby, when he takes 12 or more points, if they win by, let's go 13. Why not? 12. Yeah, they're not doing too hot. Let's do 13. The Kings are quite trash. Whenever the Spurs win by 13 or more points, and we see Wemby take any more than 4 threes, I mean, this goes up to a 75% hit rate. And then when we look at these games where he hits these, I mean, when 28-point blowout, 18 points, 13, 17, 13, he didn't get in a 13-point blowout. He only played 27 minutes. One of 6 threes. I can have my piece if he only makes 1 of 6. We're getting the volume. 28-point blowout when he's literally scored all of his points in the first half of the game. 13-point win against the Golden State Warriors, where actually they were down for the considerable part of the game. I think they had to come back in the fourth quarter, and he still got the 2 threes. And then a blowout against the Suns. They won by 27. He only played 25 minutes. Still 1 of 4, 25%. It was a shitty night for him, but still, I mean, they won by 27. You don't really need much from Wemby. Basically, I really hate to say this, but essentially, whenever it's a blowout for the Spurs, I feel, and when you watch these games, you do kind of see Wemby when the game comes out of that competitive. Well, it's always competitive, but in terms of the nuance in which, okay, this is whatever happens in this possession is consequential to how the outcome of this game is. When they have a possession or three ahead, you kind of see Wemby do some bullshit. You'll see him facilitate on the pick and roll always, but you'll see him randomly find himself on the wing, top of the key, spot up and take a deep three. Granted, that's probably why the volume is so volatile this season because, yes, he is playing more of a center and he only gets to do, I guess, those point center things when the game is a bit ahead before he gets pulled out. Um, 2 threes against the Kings. I'm okay with it. Again, this is another volume bet. I think everything. Well, the other prop in terms of Jalen Green. I can have my piece in terms of the volume. I maybe want to get on the points and rebounds, but I think the other time I took points and rebounds for him, abysmal. I think I've taken him for 2 times on points and rebounds against Charlotte, against the Mavericks the second time around after he got 40. So I'd rather not take the risk on that. But in that said, 2 threes for Wemby, it is a little more juiced. But again, the idea is we get this brooms out tomorrow. Well, tonight the brooms will be out for tomorrow's video, and we sweep the board. Give me 2 threes on Wemby. Alternative play that I did potentially like, Castle points and assists, but this line has just gone up now at 22.5. Fox, it's at 22.5, but it's kind of weird on how these guys play their minutes. Well, actually, it's at 22.5 for Fox. It's 23.5 for Fox, sorry. But it's weird how their minutes are staggered. Not really how their minutes are staggered since they play together. It's kind of weird in terms of whose game it is on who decides to be that primary facilitator. With that being said, I'd rather just take Victor Wembanyama with his threes. Champagne, his threes, I did consider that as well, but 2.5. Wait, 1.5. Has it gone down? I'm not mad at Champagne 1.5 threes either because that's all he fucking shoots. You can take Champagne 2 threes if you do want to get more bang for your buck. But with that being said, I'd rather take Wemby for the 2 threes. You can get this for -136 on FanDuel. You could probably get some better prices if you actually no, it's heavily juiced. Yeah. 2 threes. Again, there is a blowout concern. It's an 18.5 point spread. But again, when you're getting this much volume from Wemby, I'm okay. He make 2 threes out of 6. Shoot at 33% for once, man. Please. All right. Our last prop of today. Again, we're going for the theme of today, slightly juiced odds for the sake that we're gonna hit a parlay. Usher Thompson, Mr. Old Reliable. We're taking him for the 6 rebounds. Last time we took him for the 6 rebounds, I think it was against Toronto. Yes, it was against Toronto. He did not get it. Notion was that without Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren, it was going to be him, Tobias Harris, and Paul Reed in the front court. Rebounds would come up plenty. Rebounds did not come up plenty for him in 2 relative blowouts. I mean, he saw full minutes. 30 minutes against the Knicks in a blowout. And then he still got his close to regular minutes, a little bit under, but the game was well ahead. Didn't see much rebound chances against the Knicks, but he still covered 5. He only got 8 rebound chances. Typically, we do like him to get 2 more, get around 10, 11, 12 to have peace of mind on it. So the idea is, I think the read was just wrong for me the last time I took him against Toronto. The reason why Usher Thompson is so prone to getting rebounds on this Pistons team is due to the fact that his role when Jalen Duren plays is to get those weak-sided, small-sided rebounds. With Jalen Duren in the team, he is the primary pick and roll ball handling center with Cade Cunningham. Not to say that in the 2 games he was out, Usher Thompson was taking that responsibility, but I think in terms of the script of the game, we had 2 blockbuster performances. I think 40 points against the Knicks, and then I think like 27 against the Raptors, double doubles in both of them in terms of assists. I think double digit assists. Kate Cunningham took more responsibility, of course, essentially since the number 2 was out. Kate necessarily had to take that responsibility. With Jalen Duren back into the lineup, I think we're gonna see things kind of go back to normal. We're still seeing Isaiah Stewart out, but again, that comes out with the second unit. Usher Thompson will see the bulk majority of his minutes with this starting 5. So it should be regular scheduled programming as usual. You're gonna have Jalen Duren and Kate Cunningham doing a majority of the pick and roll. Jalen Duren points and rebounds was very close to making the card, like so close to making the card. But 29 and a half, 30 points and rebounds, I just couldn't get behind it. Um, I do think that after the 2 game suspension, he's gonna come like he's gonna hit the ground running astronomically. And the matchup against Jalen Smith, I mean, whatchamacallit, no Vucevic anymore. I mean, Zach Collins still, I mean, he's out for the season now. Wow, is that new? Yeah, he's out for the season. Wow, that's big. And Yabasada is probably not gonna probably even if he does play, Jalen Duren is going to body the boards. With that being said, I hope that doesn't eat into Usher Thompson. But we're talking about the worst team in the league when it comes to rebounds to the small forward position. This essentially is a system play. It's the old reliable Usher Thompson, 6 rebounds. If you do want an alternate, I guess I probably can't go over the alternate because I did report on the watered down parlay, quote unquote, very late in the day. It ended up just being Cavs first half money line, or I think money line straight up, both of which hit. Jeremiah Fears, um, just the 10 points. Of course, he covered that in the first half. And then for the Hawks and Heat game, I just took the first half under. Absolute blew it out of the water when I think the first quarter only had like 39 points total. Um, so with that being said, I guess if I do have to give you the workarounds on what I would pick, um, the alternatives, Jalen Duren double double. I'm not trying to bullshit you guys. I'm sorry. I just had to take a drink of water here. Yes, heavily juiced, minus 175. But again, this is the guarantee of the parlay in which if one of these straights don't get us over the line. In terms of threes, Wemby, if you don't feel opposed, you just take him out. This is a blowout concern, honestly. 76ers, you can just take the money line straight up. I love it at minus 170. I just don't know why it's that juiced. I mean, obviously, I mean why it's still that high. I think this should be in minus 250, minus 300. We're talking about a Pelicans team. Yeah, there's no Joel Embiid, but still, that's again, like I said, that's been the narrative for the majority of the season. I think 76ers again, they've lost 3 on the bounce. They have to turn things around. We have a Pelicans team that have only won 20% of their games on a back-to-back. 76ers money line. Or honestly, you can probably just keep that spread as it is. Or how's the first half spread? First half, you can get first half spread minus the 2 points. Don't risk it. Just take the money line. 76ers money line it's minus 168 on FanDuel. Yeah, but 76ers money line. Jalen Duren double, and then Jalen Green, just give him the 15 points. That would be the water down. But with that being said, the props for today are Jalen Green, 22 points and assist. 76ers, minus the 4 points. Victor Wembanyama, over 1.5 threes. And Usher Thompson, 6 rebounds. If you're still watching this after 30 minutes, I really do appreciate it. I do apologize for the start of the video with the typo on Amin Thompson. I do mean Osher Thompson. Um, After 2 3-1 nights, we're back. We're back in the swing of things. It's hopefully gonna be a winning. I mean, of course, it's gonna be a very short week. Hopefully, let's make it a winning week with a few more props, get us a little bit more in profit. Hopefully, hit a parlay. Um, Please gamble responsibly. Gamble what you're willing to lose. Gamble what you can afford to lose. If you can like, subscribe, comment what you're rocking with from today's props, what you're not rocking with, what you yourself are gonna play. Like I'll always say, I want to help you, help me, help make us some money. Have a blessed day, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.